Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Five Star Joshi Show here on the Fight Game Media Network, as well as my YouTube channel. I am your host, as always, Scott E. I'm excited. I'm excited. It's another week of Joshi, so I'm always excited. Of course, if you are coming to this episode, just know we have already reviewed Marigold Shine Forever 2025. So if you're interested in that recording, head over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/at Scott E Wrestling. Go under the live tab. It was a live review, or you could check it out right here on the Fight Game Media Network. Not YouTube podcast feed. It is up there as well for those interested. I did get it onto MP3 platforms, so shout out to Fight Game for that. But I'm very proud of this review. It was a great review. I had Peps on there, I had Dylan on there, I had Xavier on there, and we had a great time talking about what an incredible show that was. I'll be sure to talk a little bit more about it later on when we get to the Marigold section of the podcast. But we are going to start this show off a little different this week because, truthfully, it's been a long week. Okay. It's been a long week for me. Every day has felt longer, dealing with some things outside of the wrestling world, as we all do. It's better now. It's better now. But all I'll ever say is make sure to always be there for your loved ones. Make sure you always reach out to them and all that, because you can always be there for them. They can always be there for you. And I think you got to have, whether your loved ones are family, whether your loved ones are friends, whatever it may be, make sure you reach out to them because, as I said, it's been a long week, but we're on the other side. We're on a good side. We're on a pleasant side. I'm excited now to get into what is, of course, my safe space, my exit from reality, and that is talking Joshi wrestling. That is talking to all of you here on the podcast. So thank you for always listening. Thank you for always joining me. If we do a live stream or any of that, it means the world to me. It truly does. So hopefully, if you're here, you're enjoying the show. Hopefully, this can be maybe a escape for you as well, just listening to me talk about Joshi wrestling, which, if that's the case, happy to be that for you. We all need those. But with that being said, this week we usually start with Stardom every week. And this is Stardom connected. So I think that's why it's a good fit to start this show off. But last Friday was the annual Hana Kimura Memorial Show. This time it was titled Fireworks Hanabi, and it was another class of a show. Kyoko Kimura puts so much effort into these shows, right? And it's so amazing to see who takes part, right? Because it's the wrestling landscape in Japan. It's not just Joshi, but it's also Puro, it's indie wrestlers, it's all these different wrestlers all coming together on the 23rd at Corkin Hall to celebrate the life of Hana. And it's always so special to watch. It's always so special to witness as a fan of both Hana and everyone involved. And you can just tell how much it's meaningful to them. This show was once again great with a main event that I have been thinking about since it happened. So let's just dive right into this show. We're just going to go over results, but I want to talk about the main event. That's why we're here. I want to talk about the main event of this show because I think it so perfectly captures Hana Kimura in so many different ways, with her best friend and in many ways her protege coming together to celebrate her life and showcase their careers as well. So the results were as followed. They are not uh, necessarily shockers by any means, but you had Tehama defeating Yuna. Obviously, if you know Yuna's connection to Hana, then it's all the more special that she gets to take parts of these shows so young in her career. Detiyama-san won the Battle Royal, so always fun to see Detiyama-san make her return. Aja Kong defeated Saiko Tachibana not once, not twice, but 3 times, which was very funny, very entertaining. That kinda took on the Sakura Hirota role uh, this year. Despite Hirota being on the show as Shin Hana Kimura, she did take on the Seigo Tachibana did take on the role of the multiple matches against Aja Kong and suffering defeat each and every single time. Yeah, Jaguar Yokota defeat Shin Hana Kimura, which was, of course, Hirota, as well as Menso Ray. In the third to final match, it was Red Energy, Miko Watamuki Takase versus Weira, Ultima Powers, Dash Sasako and Hori Matsumoto versus Saori and Natsupoi, which went to a 15-minute time limit draw. I thought this match was, as you'd kind of expect on paper, tons of fun, very good. It's become a signature of these Hana Kimura shows is you have this one big tag on it with the signature main event, and they always deliver. I love seeing Saori and Poi together. I don't think we get that nearly enough. Um, Obviously, with Saori and her schedule and Natsupoi being a Stardom wrestler, that's part of the reason. But in the right world, we get a tag run out of them. Listen, Saori is already a tag champ, right? I had said it at the beginning of the year. There were multiple possibilities. She's a tag champ with Takumi Iroha. Why can't she be Goddesses of Stardom champions with Natsupoi? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And maybe we make a step closer to that, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit when we talk about the Natsu Saori 10th anniversary show. In the semi-main event, which I thought was also a good semi-main event, it was Konami and Minoru Suzuki defeating Chihiro Hashimoto and Shotaro Ashino. Um, Konami is always so lovely, really, on these shows for Hana because obviously of that connection there. And I always like that she gets to take part. So um giving her the semi-main event with Suzuki was pretty cool. Her and Hash had some good moments as well. And then in your main event, it was Veni versus Rina. And this match confirmed to me what had long been my belief, and that is with Mayu Iwatani out of Stardom, I had been looking for or trying to figure out who is my favorite wrestler in Stardom. Now, it had been Mayu Iwatani since I got into Joshi. And obviously, while Mayu Iwatani is my favorite of all time, the GOAT and all that, I needed a new Stardom wrestler. And before this match was even over, the realization that Rina is that for me now was so very clear. She is such an incredible wrestler. She, to me, is one of the very best on the roster at just 18 years old. She has continuously made strides, and this year she has given me 2 matches that I was emotionally locked into, that I was so um lost in, if that makes sense, because you can get lost in emotion. That's, to me, if you can connect to wrestling emotionally, whether it be in a happy manner or really any emotion, it's those wrestlers that have a special connection, right? And Rina is that wrestler in Stardom for me. Her and Veni put on an incredible show. There is so much about Rina that is Hana while also being 100% herself. She has so clearly taken the learning she had from Hana and made it her own, but the personality, the charisma, it's there. It's there. And seeing her getting to step into the Hana Kimura show a few years ago for the first time to now main eventing against Hana Kimura's best friend Veni, that was special. And this match was special. I think it's easy to get lost in the emotion of a match, but that's all I did. That's all I did within this match. I watched Rina have Kyoko Kimura in her corner rooting for her to fight through. And there were some kickouts in those final minutes where you're just like, man, this is it. And I don't know how long Stardom can or will weight on Rina becoming Wonder of Stardom champion, but it shouldn't be too long. I don't think there is a wrestler more ready than Rina to take that next step further. We've seen it in the Starlight Kid match. It's one of my favorite matches of the year. I will take that match with me forever because of just the meaning behind it and the performance that she had and Starlight Kid had. And now there's this one. She steps in there with Venny, someone that she's never wrestled before, and they put on one heck of a monumental moment and show in this match. What's so amazing about these Hana shows is not only that we get to celebrate Hana Kimura, but the wrestlers themselves make it a celebration of Hana Kimura. And that's what Venny and Rina did. This is as good to me as any match that's ever happened on the Hana Kimura Memorial shows. Truly. Like, that's how much this meant to me. Seeing Konami in her corner, obviously because of hate and whatnot, but this was a Oedo tie, folks. This was, back in the day type stuff. And despite coming up short against Venny, as she understandably should, she's just a star. Rina is an undeniable star. Just someone that I feel like everyone should want to root for forever. And I'm just excited to see what she does next. But what a moment for her! What a moment for Kyoko, Venny, all sharing the ring to sign off, and then the emotional video between Rina and Hana that they put together. Oh my goodness, I was a mess. I'm a mess thinking about it now. That video was incredible, and it's a video that they've done right. It's the involvement in the main event and the connection to Hana. We saw it last year with Julia and Hana. This year the Rina and Hana one got me, and oh man, it was just such another well done show. I want to applaud Kyoko Kimura for putting these together. I know I'll never know the pain she goes through, obviously, but I will forever appreciate what she does for fans and for people to celebrate Hana together, right? I think that's so important. So, if you haven't watched the show, go out of your way to buy it. If there's a show that you are going to spend your money on, please let it be this one. It's on Triller. Go buy it. It's worth every penny and more. Please, 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 please go do that. But we'll head back now to the world wondering of Stardom because they had two shows this past weekend. Plus, they have a big time pay per view this week that I'm very, very excited for, by the way. I couldn't be more excited for this upcoming show because to me, I think when it comes to these, big Stardom shows, you like a little bit of change up. At least I do. I like some change to these shows. And there is no bigger change than a show very clearly, very apparently booked by Saori Aono and Natsupoi. It is so 100% unequivocally them, right? That it makes it such an exciting show. So we'll talk about that. We'll do a big preview for that here. But what we'll also do is talk about this weekend shows because it did have a title match this past weekend. It kind of brings us to a bigger topic, I think, in Stardom on one specific wrestler who had a lot of success this weekend. So let's get to it. They were in Osaka on Saturday, 604 people in attendance. You had Hanan, Momokogo, and Saida defeating Hina, Tomoki Naba, and Kikyo Furusawa. Continuing to watch the rookies. One thing I'm going to do and continue to do is always watch these rookies. See how, Kikyo and Emma grow over the next number of months because I do think that in terms of Stardom rookies, they're some of the most exciting we've seen in quite some time. They're both very different styles, and it allows them to stand out. So this was a fun match. I thought Tomoki Naba was especially great actually in this match. I don't know when we're going to get her in a title match, but boy oh boy, her performances are telling you she should be in a title match here sooner rather than later. I think watching Inaba or the Inabas, there's again so much added to a Stardom show from both of them because they both bring something different, but they both really bring up their own stables. And I think that's so important. But her and Ida were really good in this match, I thought. And yeah, Kikyo looked good in her second career match, I think. Yeah, this was her second career match. So again, we are making the right steps, the steps you want to see. Again, there's nothing like to write home about here, but it's going to be natural progression. The beauty, I think, of being a Joshi wrestling fan to the point that myself and others are is you're watching the future of this industry grow each and every show you watch, and she is part of that. The next match was Mei Sarah defeating Yuri Hime. I enjoyed that one. I think Yuri Hime is a level or two above really Akira Kuragane in the ring right now. Watching this weekend, I just kind of I think Akira Kuragane has the vibes down, right? The cool factor. But there's still something very lacking there in terms of her overall wrestling that I'm waiting for. And I think that's part of the natural conversation, obviously, is like, are we going to see growth? And obviously the answer is going to be yes. But Yuri Hime is at least making some strides forward. And I think matches with someone like Mei Sarah are going to be part of that, right? The match with Saida was part of that. So right now, I don't want to make it a competition, but since they're from the same class, it's hard to not make it a competition. So that's kind of what I see there. You also had Hazuki, Koguma, and Akira Kuragane defeat the Cosmic Angels, Aya Sakura, Sayaka Kara, and Emma Maishima. Maishima, I believe is her name. This was good. This was good. There's just one thing that pains me. There is so very clearly nothing going on for FWC. They're just kind of here. That is their role right now. They are just kind of here. They're together, and that's that. I like Hazuki's whole baseball thing going. Obviously, as a baseball fan, very cool. I like the custom Hazuki jersey. That was a very nice addition to the entrance stuff. But there is like so little direction for FWC. And overall, I think the faction conversation is one to be had. I think we're just waiting for Stardom the conversion because last year that's where the faction stuff started to really set in, obviously. So I think that's really what we're waiting for. But there's not even like a hint of something for FWC. I know they're going to Texas for Spark for All In weekend. That's great, I guess. But I am here watching Stardom, and two of my favorite tag team is doing nothing, and there is no level to what's next. What I will say, Sayaka Kara and Aya Sakura, again, I do believe should be challenging for the New Blood or Goddesses tag belts sooner rather than later. I like them as a duo. I continue to like them as a duo. I thought Emma looked good here in her second match as well. So it was a good match. I'm pleading, I'm asking, can we figure something out with FWC? I know the Stars thing just happened, but I don't like when someone like Hazuki is directionless, and she is very directionless right now. Yeah, Lady C, Rana Yagami, Saki Kashima, and Shuri defeat Azusa Naba, Fuki Death, Natsuko Tora, and Saya Kamatani. Not much to write home about. This is like the least notable Saya Kamatani match in a very long time. It feels like I know they're house shows, and there's a house show discussion to be had, I think, where we are watching Stardom slowly fall in the line of the New Japan style house show, which I don't enjoy the idea of, and I'm kind of fearful of. Some of these wrestlers still don't, they don't have an off switch, so you're fine. But it's starting to slowly feel that way, and I'm not a fan of that because I don't like New Japan and their style for that. The beauty of Joshi is that house shows are where you see growth and all these things, and I don't think the rookies are going to slow down, but some matches and some directions. If you're not watching house shows outside of this Osaka one, you're not missing too much because we're not prolonging stories too much. Right now, we don't have our next World of Stardom challenger. Right now, we don't have our next Wonder of Stardom challenger. We don't have our next Goddesses of Stardom challengers. We're just kind of moving forward. There's a Korakuen coming up next weekend. I have no idea what that's going to look like. Maybe some contenders matches or something, but I like the natural story. So again, these are directions, these are topics I need to bring up because as someone watching the house shows and doing that to talk about them on the show, I'm asking for just a little bit more. Let's not go down the New Japan path. We don't want that. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, thank you. And then you had Natsupoi, Soriano, and Yunimizumori defeat Hanako, Rion, and Wakasukiyama. So EXV just kind of in this weird spot where they're just those three, and there's so much you can do with those three. But let's talk about the main event. The main event was Vivida Loca and Hate trying to take away the Artists of Stardom championships from Azumi, Miyu Amasaki, and Starlight Kid. This was a good match. This was a very fun match. This, I thought, was the best match of the weekend from Stardom by far. There's different ways to look at this match because boy, oh boy, I didn't know what the rules were for the most part. When I knew it was elimination of some kind, but it was a no tag elimination match. You could just go, 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 and that was great. I loved that. You had over the top ropes, you had pinfalls, you had all these different things, and I found it to be interesting who was being protected and who wasn't. I think that's always a fun topic point when watching a match like this because if you're getting eliminated via over the top rope, you are being protected. If you are being pinned, you are not being protected as much, right? Or if you're being pinned, you're being set up for a different title match. But if you're winning, if you're making those pinfalls, I think that's an important part as well. These are the little things you got to pay attention to in these types of matches because they do matter. They do matter. And like I said, this match was a lot of fun. This three very solid teams here. Obviously, the champions, Miyu, Azumi, and Starlight Kid, are fantastic together. This was the Miyu Amasaki show, folks. It's been too long since we've seen the Miyu Amasaki show. And that has been part of the problem. Where's the Miyu Amasaki show? We need it. We need more of it. It doesn't hurt that you have the Rinas of the world, the Suzus of the world, right? We're seeing Mi Vida Loca in full form. I thought Konami had one of her better showings in a long time in this. Ruaka was good. Everyone was really good in this match. Sometimes the rules get a little tricky, right? Sometimes it's just a little, all right, hold on. What's going on here? What's going on there? But overall, a very, very good match. Quite enjoyed what we saw here. I think overall, when you look at the importance of these three as champion right now, it's again still propping up the future. And that's what I thought they had. I also thought this graphic was very fitting because it was the Miyu Amasaki show. Listen, she's in the middle of the damn graphic. But Konami was actually the first eliminated, which I found to be a bit of a shock. But notable moment. Then Itsuki Aoki eliminated Azumi. So Azumi was pinned. She took a refrigerator bomb from Ruaka, then got splashed by Aoki, who landed on top of Ruaka and Azumi to get the pin there. So not too bad of a loss. You saw Rina eliminate Itsuki Aoki. So again, letting Rina look strong. Continue building her up, please, and thank you. This is the way we want to do it. And she was one of the wrestlers really protected as her and Rina Yamashita were fighting on the apron before Starlight Kid and Miyu Amasaki eliminated them both via over the top rope. Ruaka eliminated Starlight Kid and Suzu also via over the top rope. They did not get pinned, so that was notable and a big change there. And it left us down to Miyu Amasaki and Ruaka, who had a very solid closing to this match, with Miyu Amasaki getting the victory for her team. Like I said, if you're going to check out a match from this weekend's house shows, this is the one to do it. And this was the first of two Notable wins from Miyu Amasaki, which will bring me to my pitch. If you've already seen my tweet this week about Miyu Amasaki, you know where I'm going, but we'll get there when we get there. Let's get to the other show, which was in Kyoto, homecoming match for Miyu Amasaki, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like every time we go to the Pretty Glass, it's her hometown match. Yes, this was her homecoming match. So they got the main event there, which is always notable. But the first match I thought on the show was actually the best. It was Saya Kamatani, Rina, and Zusanaba defeating Ai Sakura, Yumi Mizumori, and Emma Mishima. This was really solid. I mean, listen, you look at that hate trio, give them the belts. All right. If we're gonna have someone beat Starlight Kid, Miyu Amasaki, and Azumi, this is the trio. This is the one I'm picking. Saya, Azusa, and Rina. I don't think there's I think this match might legitimately have the 3 best house show workers right now. That's Aya, Azusa, and Rina. They crush it every match they have because they're young, they go for it, things like that, right? Those 3 crush it. Then you have Yuna, who's always very good. You have Emma, who's learning her way, and then of course you have Saya Kamatani, who we've been over the Saya Kamatani importance here. But this was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun. Obviously, Emma's going to get pinned, but I liked seeing her again mix it up with the heels. And yeah, let's give this trio the belts. They're awesome. They are my favorite part of Hate with Momo Watanabe injured. And I think they kind of like makes up what Hate's supposed to be moving forward. Like it's these 3. So if you want Hate to win the titles, give it to those 3. Saki Kashima, Tomoki Inaba, and Waka Tsukiyama defeated Kikyo Furusawa, Hanan, and Momo Kogo. A fine match here. I don't think there was a lot to write home about necessarily here from Kikyo, but I do like to again bring up the new debutees because those are kind of the ones that get put under the microscope a bit lately. So that is what it is. But a fine match nonetheless. You had Konami Ruaka defeat Sai Ida and Yuria Hime. You had FWC defeat Kira Kuragane and Suzuki. This was the match that I watched. I was like, I would like to see Akira Kuragane make a next step because obviously teaming with Suzu, she's in the loser role. I get that, but I do think there can be a step or 2 made. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not counting her out by any means. She's still very early into her career. Yurihime just has the slight advantage. You had Hanako defeat Rian in the semi-main, so EXV versus EXV. And then in your main event, like I said, it was Neo Genesis, Azumi, Meisera, Starlight Kid, and Miyu Amasaki defeating Hina, Lady C, Rana Yagami, and Shuri, with Miyu Amasaki pinning Lady C. So Miyu Amasaki getting 2 big wins over this weekend. Very important, I think, because not only do these wins, I hope, matter, but they're notable. They're 2 main event wins. They're 2 wins that, again, you want to see utilized for more. You want to see utilized so when we get to the Korakuen next weekend, maybe she's making a challenge to Starlight Kid. Like, listen, I am on a little winning streak here. I was the one that successfully defended our belts at Osaka. I want to face you, Starlight Kid, because that's the match we should be going towards. I don't care if it's at Korakuen. I don't care if it's at the Conversion. We're giving Miyu a shot. That is where I'm at because that's where Stardom's at, right? When you gave Hanako an opportunity, which I have said is a understandable thing with where Stardom is right now, right? If you're going to give her an opportunity, let's give wrestlers like Miyu that same opportunity. The opportunities now for this month, right? The opportunities in June are Korakuen on the 8th. Might be hard to pull that one off because unless Miyu Amasaki shows up at the Well, she'll probably be in the corner of them. But if she challenges at the Natsu Saori show, because Starlight Kid and Azumi are on that show, or maybe we come off after that and do that. I'm just trying, or it's going to be the conversion. One of Starlight Kid's defenses are coming up here, right? So that's kind of what I'm pitching. I think Miyu Amasaki has earned it. I think she's put in the work. I think anytime she gets an opportunity, she shines. That's where I'm at. That is where I'm at. I think, again, with this Wonder Stardom Championship, you're trying to see where do you rank. And listen, it's not my fault. Neo Genesis has 3 wrestlers that absolutely should be challenging for the Wonder Stardom Championship, but they do. They do. And I think Miyu Amasaki is at the top of that list of getting that first opportunity against Starlight Kid, because I look back at their 5-star Grand Prix match in 2024 that I really enjoyed. They went to a 15-minute time limit draw. So another claim for Miyu to get that match. And it makes sense from what Stardom is doing. I can't stress that enough. So I hope that is the direction we go. I hope they're willing to give Miyu this opportunity. If it's not Miyu, let it be Tomoki Inaba. Let it be one of the two. I'd have her be the next two. Listen, Starlight Kid should not be losing this belt unless it's to Rina. So let's go with that. Stardom conversion, Big Show and Yogi. You're gonna want Starlight Kid in the title match. You already got Saori versus Shuri. You're gonna have Saya Kamatani, I'm sure. Why not go with a big time challenge from Miyu Amasaki at this show? Last year you had Xena versus Micah for the world title. So taking chances is not a bad thing here. But we'll see. We'll see when we get there. But I would love for Miyu to get the opportunity. But let's get to the Natsu Saori show. The Natsu Saori show is a very exciting one at that, because, like I said earlier, it is a show of uniqueness. It is a show of being true to Saori and Natsu. Natsupoi and Saori have been building the show for months. It will take place at the Oda Awards City Central Gymnasium, and they're celebrating not only their careers, but the career of their peers through the years, whether it be from actress girls, the indies, Stardom. They're celebrating all of them. And I think that's really, really cool. That's kind of the beauty of the show. There's only a very hand-picked number of Stardom inclusion on this show. As you can see here, your opening match has nothing to do with Stardom. This is a actress girls classic from back in the day. It'll be Aina, Aiba, and Mike Ozaki facing Tehoma and Yuma Nase. Aiba has not wrestled since, oh my god. I know I think she's a singer. She hasn't wrestled since 2016. She wrestled a total of 5 matches according to Cage Match. But she was part of the very first Actress Girls show, going under the name of Yuki Harima. She debuted, or let me rephrase, this was the prologue show, but she was in the very first main event of that show, losing to Mika Ozaki. So she will be part of this, which is obviously very cool. In the Act 1, which was the opening official show, was Mike Ozaki and Yuki Harima versus Seri Aono and Yuna Manase. So 3 of the 4 involved in this match. You add Tehoma, and now Kakuta will be the special guest referee. So very cool match, I think, and a way to start this off, much like Actress Girls was started off long ago. So again, I think that's kind of the cool part about this show, is it's so Natsu Saori, it's perfect. And like I said, that's just match number 1. Match number 2, which I already showed, will be Yumika Hoda teaming with Miku Kane to take on Karo Ito and Rian. So obviously connections as their trainers, their legends for Saori and Natsu here with Hoda and Karo Ito on the show. You bring in Miku Kane, who I think is an incredible rookie on the scene, one that deserves a lot of eyes. And of course, Rian, who gets to step in. Rian wanted to be part of the show, and she gets a big opportunity as well. This should be one of the legends pinning one of the rookies. If I had to guess, Rion's the one getting pinned, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Miku and Rion can do specifically. I've watched Hoda and Ito wrestle so many times the past few years. They'll turn it up a little bit and they'll be fun too. So that'll be a fun match. Then you'll have the Battle Royal featuring Suzu Suzuki, Kaguro Sekiguchi, Rina Amikura, Yuko Sakurai, Ryo Mizunami, Sakura Hirota, Akino, Sonoko Kato, Ron Maru, and Hiroyo Matsumoto. Battle Royals are always fun and goofy, and this will be fun and goofy, I'm sure. Suzuki getting tossed in here is actually the funniest part. I don't know why. But Hiroyo Matsumoto's on here. That's cool. Ryo Mizunami's on here. Sonoko Kato, who will be retiring later this year, is on here. So, all these little fun things. It's a battle royal, it's all about being fun. So maybe they'll have a surprise that they haven't announced. I think that's always a good possibility as well. And then you get to the rest of the Cosmic Angels. The beauty of this show, maybe more than anything, is Saori and Natsupoi looking out for their fellow Cosmic Angels. Each of them will have a trial match with Sayaka Karara facing Mayumi Ozaki. I laugh because what a matchup this is. This is straight from the brain of Saori Aono. I could just tell. Obviously, Saori Aono has a lot of involvement in Oz Academy. Currently in a rivalry with Mayumi Ozaki, having a long time teamed with Mayumi Ozaki. So, big test for Karara, who I'm sure will not be winning this match. I'm very sorry to say. I don't think any of them will, but just had to make that point. But hey, I'm fascinated in it. Sayaka Karara gets another chance to be an ultimate babyface in a Stardom ring. I guess kind of start. This is prevented by Stardom, but it is we'll call it a produce show because that's really what it is, a big time produce show. Then Yuna Mizumori will take on Saki in her trial match, but these two have plenty of history. What was their team name? I forget their Tropico Wild. They won the Asia Dream Tag Team Championships twice as a duo, holding them for almost a year a few years ago. So Saki and Unimizumori with plenty of history going one-on-one. So this would be very cool for Unimizumori, I'm sure, to face Saki for the first time in a long time. Before we get to the other trial match, we have a We Are Stardom match. So Saori and Natsupoi made sure to get some super duper Stardom involvement, and I don't think they could have nailed it any better. You'll have Starlight Kid and Azumi teaming up to take on Wingori, Saida, and Hana. This match is gonna obviously rock. I don't think I need to pitch that. It's probably going to be second or third to the top if I had to guess. So obviously, I'm very excited about it, and I'm hopeful that you are too, because I mean, look at these four. You know what these four are capable of. You know what they're going to do, and it's in Oda Ward. They're going to go all out. Hell, we should have put the titles online, but it's fine. It's fine. Maybe they have them go. A draw is very in play, but maybe you have Azumi and Kid win, and then you can get a quick challenge for the Korakuen a week after. Run it back. I don't think that would be a crazy thought, but I can't wait for this one. But my most hyped match on the show, it should have come as a surprise, the third trial match of Natsu and Saori's 10th anniversary show will be none other than Aya Sakura going one-on-one with the best in the world, Sari. Folks, I mean, come on. What else do you need? This is the real right here. Sari is so good. Obviously, you don't. I know I say this all the time, but she's so good at these kind of matches, especially. I vividly remember the one last year in Marigold with Nao Ishikawa in the main event because Nanai Takahashi had gotten hurt, so Nao stepped up, and that was great. That was a great match. Aya Sakura is awesome. I want, like, if I was to make a rookies that I most believe in, she is on that list comfortably. Or newer wrestlers. She's not really a rookie anymore, but you get my point. We call them rookies until they win a big title or something or start to get fully pushed. I don't know. We just kind of say rookies because it's easier. Anyways, her and Sari, when this match was made, I was like, might have to give Natsu and Saori some Booker of the Year qualifications. They might be going for rival. Can't speak. They might be rivals with Sari after this. But I can't wait. I cannot wait. This is an awesome, awesome match for the show. Should be an absolute home run. And then your main event, which you want to talk about home runs. I mean, Natsu and Saori knew what to cook up here for their 10th anniversary match together. It'll be Saori Poi, Soriano, and Natsupoi teaming up against Chihiro Hashimoto and Miku Iwatani. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. This is why we watch, folks. This is why we watch. This is gonna be great. I don't know what else I need to say other than this is going to be great. Oh man. Beautiful, beautiful booking. I can't wait to review this show next week. We're not going to do a live review or anything. Maybe we'll get a check it out of one of these matches if they touch match of the year possibilities, which I am not ruling out. But otherwise, we will be doing the normal review on the 5 Star Joshi Show next week. But my God, look at this main event. This is what it's all about. Chihiro Hashimoto and Natsupoi. I will say this. I will say this. I want to say this before we move on. This show needs to be the launching point for Natsupoi back into a major, major role in this company. It has to be. She has taken the back seat. Obviously, injuries have hurt her. Losing the Wonder Star, all these things. This is the step forward. This is Natsupoi getting back to the realm we all know she's capable of. It feels like that takeoff spot for her to get into the world of Stardom title picture and really take over. She should be the one pushed post Tam Nakano. She has always been the one that we've said once Tam Nakano's done, it's Natsupoi's turn. Let this be that moment, that show, that match. She's ready. She's said it. She has talked about it. She is ready to push Stardom forward, carry Stardom on her shoulders. Let Poi go. Let her do it. I need it. But this should be a really cool show, a really awesome match. I'm really looking forward to it. The most anticipated Stardom, in quotations, show I've had since Queendom. So really looking forward to that. Also next week, they have another New Blood coming up here. I won't lie to you. The card does not have me all too excited, but the beauty of New Blood is it usually pays off and is a fun show nonetheless. So we have a New Blood card. It's, again, not something that's going to have you jumping for joy maybe off the rip, but I think there's some matchups here that could be a lot of fun. But we're doing this pretty much the same New Blood tag title match, which is my main problem. But the opening match should be a lot of fun. It's Aya Sakura and Sayaka Kurara. They'll face Emma Maishima and Kikyo Furusawa. So the two rookies teaming up against Young Kozen. That should be a really fun match. I am looking forward to that one. This should be a fun match as well. You have Yuri Hime face Asuka Goda from Wave. So that should be good. Kira Kuragane goes one-on-one with Debbie Keitel. Hina and Rani Yagami team up. They'll face Hanoka and Saran, as well as Azusa Naba and Fukigen Death. Ryan goes one-on-one with Nanami Hatano. And your main event, Waka Tsukiyama and Hanako defend the New Blood tag team titles against Himiko and Yuma Makoto, which is fine. I would like new champions soon, or like Stardom challengers soon. Young Kozen should be holding those belts. Give me 2-belt Aya, Like what are we doing? What are we doing? Anyways, that is that from that. Now we head over to Marigold to close out the show here today. Like I said, if you want to, you can check out the Marigold Shine Forever review on the Fight Game Media Network podcast feed. It's been up there since Saturday. Or you can go over to youtube.com/@ScottEWrestling. Go into the live tab, and that show is there in full form as we talk about the incredible, incredible show. The best show, I'd argue, from Marigold thus far. I also ask you to check out the JoshiInformer.substack.com, the weekly newsletter by myself and Rob Goodwin of the Stardom Cast. put it together every week. We will have a full written review for Shine Forever 2025, as well as everything else you need to know from the world of Joshi, like we do each and every Friday. So definitely check that one out. Shine Forever, it's a show that I could keep talking about. I could talk about Shinno's debut more and more each day, but that's what we did on that show. That's what we did on that show. So what we will instead talk about was the latest and greatest from Marigold, which was at Pro Wrestling Noah's Monday Magic, as Mayu Iwatani was invited by Nosawa to be on the show for the very first time. And would you look at that, the most watched Monday Magic episode in history, because the icon, the greatest of all time, was on it. You can't deny me. You cannot deny me. First one, she's on it. She's the only thing teased. Yeah, she's the reason. Uh, awesome stuff. Love seeing Mayu in these different rings. She continues to say, I'm going for that GHC women's title. I am going to make more history. So she has her eyes on everything. Also, the first time you got to see her in full form with her championship, her new jacket, all these different things. She stepped into the ring and she teamed with Kouki Amarei for the first time. So that was really cool. It was Mayu Iwatani and Kouki Amarei versus Sadie Gibbs and the Great Sakuya, with Mayu Iwatani pinning Sadie Gibbs to win the match. I thought it was really fun. A really fun tag, considering it's just kind of this thrown together whatever, right? Like I don't think you could have asked for much more. Sadie Gibbs kind of out of her mind. She hits a 450 like lariat and smashed her face and just kept trucking along. But Mayu got the win, as she does. Mayu in peak form these days, as she always is. But I guess the bigger aspect of this, while I can talk about Mayu being the most viewed Monday Magic draw, the greatest draw of all time, all these different things, the bigger moment was Takumi Iroha showing up. And let me give some credit to the Noah fans and crap on the New Japan fans for a second here. Not you guys. If you're a fan of New Japan, I'm not crapping on you. But Noah, big pops for Mayu Iwatani. That crowd was so happy about Mayu. Big pop for Takumi Iroha. That's what we love to see. Respecting the Joshi at these Puro shows. Noah has done a great job at getting people used to that on Monday Magic and so on. And Takumi Iroha showed up. Obviously, Takumi Iroha, if I must remind you, we have been waiting to see what is the reason she couldn't face Utami, right? Why is she putting off the Utami match? And the reason being seems to be that she wants the GHC Women's Championship. Remember how happy Utami was when Takumi said yes, but wait, right? Things you can't forget, things that are notable. And to me, this is notable because they didn't take long to make it official. This upcoming Monday, for the GHC Women's Championship, Kouki Amarei puts the belt on the line for the second time, first time since she returned from injury, to defend it against Marvelous Ace Takumi Iroha. Boy, oh boy, is that a good one, right? That's a great match. There's also Nosawa asked Mayu to come back next week. We'll see if that's the case. I'm hoping it is. But Monday Magic, place to get some more Joshi in your life. But a big time title match this Monday. We will talk about it. We'll review it next week. I'm excited. I'll be waking up for it. I want to see how this goes down, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure Takumi's winning. So obviously an unfortunate end to a title reign for Kouki that was supposed to probably last until now, with some more defenses, but it just didn't happen that way due to her injury. But I think Takumi taking it on would be very cool, and it'll be fun to see her and Seri, who are currently tag team champions, holding the GHC and IWGP at the same time. I find that very, very exciting. But this upcoming weekend, Marigold is cooking once again. Some big time shows, some big time matchups. Mayu Iwatani officially full time in the company, which is always exciting, of course. But here is your show. You have Ryoko Sakamura going one-on-one with Megaton. Also worth noting that Sumi Shozuki and Nao Shikawa are both dealing with injury, so they'll be off this weekend and for the future until they heal up. So wishing them both the best. But you'll have Rigo Sakamura versus Megaton, like I said. Hummingbird versus Rhea Seto versus Misa Matsui. So a 3-way high-speed title match. Nagisa Tachibana goes one-on-one with Chiaki. And then your match right here. The future is showcased as Seri Yamaoka teams with Shinno. Shinno's second career match. The two super rookies together, united. They'll take on Kazuna Tanaka and Kamomo Manami. I'm very much looking forward to this match. Should be a lot of fun. Shinno right back in action. Obviously, we'll see how much she's able to compete until she likely heads back to school. But yeah, I don't think I could be more excited for a match of rookies than this one. This is really cool. And we'll see how long they put off the Celine Flora matchup, because Super Rookies versus Celine Flora feels like the biggest match, because that's the big four. For those who don't know, the big four: Seri Yamaoka, Shinno, Kazuna Tanaka, Victoria Yuzuki. That is the future. That is the present of Joshi Wrestling. They are going to take Joshi Wrestling, going to take Marigold to new heights. I firmly believe that they are the ones. But shout out to Kamomo Manami and Rhea Seto. They're making a claim to be in that conversation as well. So big respect to them. But this match is going to rule. Speaking of matches that are going to rule, Utami Hayashishita and Kouki Amarei are back together as a duo. They'll be taking on Mai Sakurai and Chan Yoda. So this should be a really good match as well. I can't see anyone getting pinned here, so I'm fascinated to see if it just goes to a draw. But Utami and Kouki, I think Kouki works best when she's with Utami. So very happy to see that. And then your main event. Oh boy. The first time Mayu Iwatani and Miku Aono share a ring, folks. Miku Aono obviously coming off the Nanae Takahashi win. Mayu Iwatani coming off the Superfly Championship win. They're in the center for a reason. They're the centerpieces. This is the company. This is what Marigold's building towards. This is what it's all about. Mayu Iwatani will be joined by Victoria Yuzuki for the very first time in well over a year, as well as Mirai. Miku Aono is joined by Yuki Minami and Chika Goto. So, yeah. This match is going to be great. Just because of Mayu and Miku. I don't really care about whatever else happens. I can't wait to see those two share the ring. If it's for a minute, it's going to be amazing. So that's kind of the first big time circle there. Then on Saturday, so that show's on Friday. So by the time you're listening to this, it would have already happened, but it won't air till Sunday. So I can preview it in full. But on Saturday, it will be more of the same as the Super Rookie team up continues. Seri Yamaoka teams with Shinno to take on Ryoko Sakamura and Nagisa Tachibana. Chika Goto goes one-on-one with the Bird. Sorry, I had to pop myself there. You'll have Kouki Amarei face Yuki Minami and Megaton in a three-way battle. And then in a very interesting one-on-one match, it'll be Chan Yoda going one-on-one with Kazuna Tanaka. So I'm very interested to see how that one goes. And in the semi-main event, you have You have Utami Hayashishita team with Victoria Yuzuki. So that tag team isn't dead yet. They'll take on Chiaki and Misa Matsui. That should be a fun one. And then your main event of the evening, another great one, the Kamomo Manami homecoming match. The real Peach makes her return home in Fukuoka. She'll team with Mayu Iwatani and Mirai to take on Mai Sakurai, Rhea Seto, and Miku Aono. So more Miku Mayu minutes. God bless. Mai Sakurai's first time sharing the ring with Mayu in a long time. Kamomo Minami having the chance to prove herself. Rhea Seto's first chance to share the ring with Mayu Iwatani. It's also worth noting that that's not it for Marigold over this next week. They'll also be heading on Thursday to Shinjuku Face in Tokyo for what's usually a pretty important show on their menu. So I'm thinking that's maybe where you put the first Superfly title match between Mayu Iwatani and Misa Matsui, which was teased at the Shine Forever show this past weekend. I think that's a real possibility. That'd be great, but there's no official card as of this recording. I'm sure that will come out over the weekend and we'll watch that show. So we'll review that next week as well. Lots to review, lots to talk about, but that is it from me this week. I'm very excited for Marigold. I'm very excited for Stardom. I'm very excited for Joshi overall. Oh, and one last thing. Chi-Chi's back. this weekend as well. She makes her return to pro wrestling on the 1st, this Sunday, against Miku Kane in Evolution. So welcome back to Chi Chi. Very excited for her to make her return, a long awaited return, one that we have desperately been waiting for. So that's it from me this week. A great, fun episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed talking about Miyu Amasaki, the big four of Marigold pushing forward. We'll have some more future of Joshi conversations very, very soon. I have a special video plan for that. I also have a special talk hopefully coming out over the weekend to keep an eye out on this YouTube channel. I didn't get to get the usual extra video up this week. I guess the Shine Forever review technically counts. So check that out if you haven't. I also am going to be putting together a beginner's guide to Marigold for anyone who wants to get into it. That'll probably be coming out within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So keep an eye out on that. I've been talking about it for a while. Putting it together now, lots to put together, but keep an eye out on that. But make sure to leave a comment, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about today's episode, your thoughts on overall topics that we discussed. I love getting those thoughts. I haven't had the chance to reply to them as much recently, but I do really, really love hearing your thoughts, whether it be about Stardom, Marigold, anything else in Joshi. Please let me know. I'll do my best to respond this week. It's been a long week, like I said, so keep helping me take my escape, because that's what this is all about. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll be back next week to talk Natsu and Saori 10th anniversary show, Marigold's big time weekend, big time week that features a Shinjuku face show. There's a lot of shows next weekend too that there's a cork in for Stardom, so we'll preview whatever that looks like, and so on and so forth. You know how this show goes. But thank you, everyone, for listening. Until next time, so long. See you later. Passion.